Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning from WKYT. Time to rise and shine. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. It's Tuesday, October 20th.
Here we go. And now at 6 a.m., police in southern Kentucky are looking for a robbery suspect after they say her accomplice killed himself when cornered by police.
Lexington police are looking for a third suspect after making 2 arrests in a violent robbery and shooting.
And dozens of court documents give some new details about the case of a missing Central Kentucky mother.
We are in the 40s this morning for many locations, most locations that is, and that's well above where we have been the past couple of mornings. That means some warmer air is on the way, and you can see that by the afternoon, upper 60s to around 70 degrees. And if that's not still good enough for you, I'll show you even better conditions in the forecast coming up.
All right, and let's get to the news. Lexington police are looking for a third suspect involved in a violent robbery and shooting.
It happened at a home on Windy Knoll Drive near Man-O-War and Armstrong Mill. 2 of the suspects are headed to court today, including a man who was shot during the crime. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Lexington with details.
Good morning. Now, police are still looking for a third robber in this case. However, they say they have already arrested 2 men. Now, those men will be walking up to the 3rd floor of the Fayette County District Courthouse here later this afternoon to answer to their charges of first-degree robbery for the first time. Now, police say that the 2 18-year-olds already arrested and accused in this case, Jonathan James and Rayvon Brown, tried to rob 3 people in a home on Windy Knoll Drive around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. We're told James and one of the people inside the home were shot during the attempted robbery. Police think the third robber, the one who they have not found yet, shot the person in the house. Investigators say it was a targeted crime. The teens who are now charged with robbery knew one of the people in the home. We're told one person in the house is now facing drug charges. Officers tell us when they got to the home, Brown had been overpowered by the people there and they were holding him for police. According to officers, James ran off after he was shot and showed up at the police department on Center Parkway. We're told he is expected to be okay. And at this time, we are still working to figure out how seriously the person who was shot in the home is hurt. Now, again, this morning, that search for that third robbery suspect is continuing. Police say they could really use some help from anybody in the public who has any information. At this point, they say they're hoping for a tip that could lead to an arrest. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you very much. And investigators say a robbery suspect shot and killed himself after being cornered by police. Somerset police say a man and a woman robbed the Goodwill in the Tradewinds shopping center last night. And a short time later, police say officers spotted the suspects and started chasing after them. Police say once 49-year-old Albert Swihart was cornered, he shot and killed himself in the driveway of a home on West Columbia Street. Police say they did not fire any shots. They are still looking for Lindsay Cox of Whitley City. And new this morning, someone's home was destroyed in an early morning fire in Jessamine County. The fire started around 4 o'clock this morning on Sulphur Well Road south of Nicholasville. Firefighters say the home is a total loss. The owner was not home when the fire started this morning, and the cause is right now under investigation.
A man was seriously injured in a possible stabbing in Powell County. It happened last night at a home along Hardwicks Creek Road near Clay City. State police say they don't know too much about it at this point. They say a man was flown to UK Hospital with cuts to his stomach. It's not clear if any arrests have been made. Months after a Kentucky mother of 5 disappeared, new details are emerging about the case.
Crystal Rogers has not been seen since July. Her boyfriend has now been identified as a suspect, and his brother, who's a Bardstown police officer, was fired for interfering in the investigation. Nearly 200 pages of documents about the case have just been released. WKYT's Hillary Thornton has been digging into those documents this morning. She is at our live desk to tell us what she's found. Hillary, good morning.
Good morning. Roger's boyfriend, Brooks Houck, sat down with police for about 2 hours in a taped interview. That video shows Houck becoming emotional and still claiming his innocence, agreeing to cooperate. Houck told detectives about the night of July 3rd when he says around 7 that evening he went to his family farm with Crystal and their son to feed the livestock. Investigators then asked Houck about a burn pile on that farm that search dogs have hit on. He told detectives he remembered lighting a trash fire there. A nearby camera then shows him leaving the farm just before midnight. He says he left with Crystal, but when he woke up the next morning, she was gone. Now, during this interview, Houck's brother, Nick, called. Brooks is heard telling him, quote, "I am innocent and I haven't done anything wrong," end quote. Still, the interview ends. A week later, Nick Houck, the police officer brother, comes in to talk with investigators. Detectives ask him about that phone call made during the interview and the trip the two made to the farm within 2 hours of the interview. Houck says he cannot remember what went on there. Investigators then asking him about neighbors seeing him take something out of his police cruiser, a spot search dogs also hit on.
A couple spots in your trunk and that blanket, I mean, just lit up like Chernobyl. Why would that?
There's not going to be any blood in the trunk.
Okay, well, I did not say blood. I'm talking about other bodily fluids.
Now, Houck goes on to say he never helped move a body or destroy evidence and that his brother is not capable of doing what he is accused of. Meanwhile, Rogers' family and search crews are scaling back their efforts to find the missing mother. At the live desk, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Well, police say a woman shot and killed her husband in Marion County. Lebanon police say Rebecca Fisher called 911 saying she shot her husband Mike at their home on West Main Street. The couple owns Campbell DeWitt Funeral Home. Police think the shooting was a result of a domestic dispute. So far, they have not filed any charges. Well, a man has died after crashing an off-road vehicle in Madison County. Fayette County coroner says 25-year-old Willis Danley died at UK Hospital. Over the weekend, police say his utility task vehicle crashed near Bogey Mill Road and Muleshed Lane west of Richmond. They're still trying to figure out what led to the accident.
Time this morning is 6 minutes after 6 on WKYT. He lost his home in an explosion, but a Corbin man says he is just grateful to still be alive this morning. Arnold Stevens was inside his home Saturday evening when an explosion leveled it. He says he had just stepped out of the shower when he heard the blast, felt the ground shake, and then saw all of the damage. Stevens was treated for some burns, but is now out of the hospital.
All I know, I thank God he was there with me watching over me. He's the reason I'm here today, so.
Stevens says firefighters told him that they think a gas leak is what caused the explosion. He is staying right now with other family members for the time being.
A group in favor of legalizing medical marijuana in Kentucky brought their message to Scott County last night. Proponents point to studies that suggest marijuana could be used to help people battling painful and serious illnesses. A bill that would have legalized medical marijuana in Kentucky stalled in the state legislature earlier this year. 23 states and the District of Columbia have legalized medical marijuana.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris and First Alert Defender.
We only have a few locations outside sitting in the 30s. The rest of us in the 40s. We talked about this yesterday where we're going to be seeing that mild upswing of temperatures. 47 right now in Frankfort. That goes for Richmond, Danville, Mount Sterling. Work your way into Clark County, Winchester. Good morning to you guys. Cynthiana, and then sitting there in Paris and Bourbon County. We're doing just fine. Carlisle all the way to Flemingsburg, holding on to temperatures there in the 40s. That's a big upswing. Check this out. 14 degrees warmer than where we were yesterday in Danville, Richmond, go off into, say, Crab Orchard, Mount Vernon. We're doing just fine this morning. 15 degrees higher there in Frankfort, too, in a lot of locations, double digits, except for down toward the far southeastern zones. Still a little cool this morning, sitting there in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. Nonetheless, you get the drift. It is getting warmer. We'll be at 68 by the afternoon. Some of us sitting there around 70 degrees. It's a very nice day in store. And if that's still too cool for you, if you're still saying 60s, that's a little on the fence for me, okay? We get into the afternoon, maybe get a little wind, and that could be cool. Wait till you hit tomorrow. Tomorrow off into your Friday, that's where you see a big jump of temperatures. No rain anytime soon, so we'll still have plenty of sunshine. It's not so much about the way it looks outside, it's about the change of that feel outside. Milder air slides on in here, and once we see that happening, Wednesday through Friday, we're looking at temperatures low to mid-70s. It's a good looking stretch right there. Weekend rain chance to slide on in as the front gets a little bit closer. That'll give us a few storms on Saturday, but really I think it's Sunday that we actually see that better chance of rain as that front moves on in. Saturday, a lot of events going on with those festivals. 70 degrees, perfect temperatures at 40% chance of rain. Then we hit Sunday, and that will give you that 60% chance of actually seeing some showers and a few rumbles of thunder. So it's not a washout this weekend. I think the better chance is Sunday, which means we can get a lot of these events in and have no worries whatsoever. It's 68 degrees today. Next few days, we'll see those temperatures climb. Low to mid 70s Wednesday through Friday. That's going to be your better days in the forecast, I should say, off towards your weekend. There's your rain chance, and this isn't a lot of rain, but we are going to be seeing a few thunderstorms slide on in here on Saturday. But that's okay. I mean, this is a good stretch of weather sliding on in here. And you know, we still need a little rain here and there. So whoever needs some rain, that's forecast for you. If you don't want rain, I still have more days for you. So this is a good looking forecast.
Lots of sunshine
for everybody.
A little taste of Indian summer here.
Yeah,
you know.
it's pretty nice.
Yeah, very good. All right, our time this morning is 6:10, and each morning we bring you weather and traffic together. And let's go to Officer Don with a check on what's happening out there on the roads. Good morning, Don.
Hey, good morning. Of course, the Todd's Road widening project continues today, and watch for delays there around Todd's and Hayes Boulevard. That's going to happen throughout the day. Right now, traffic's fairly light in the city with no issues to deal with on the Circle or the interstate as we kick things off. Live look outside downtown Main and Mill. Looks pretty good there. And as far as the interstate's concerned, on our Waze map, we can see normal traffic flow on I-75 north and southbound, cross at Clays Ferry Bridge coming in from Scott County, and checking out our exit ramps with a wide shot there. See that we're in pretty good shape. Coming in from Jessamine County this morning, no trouble yet. Of course, we had that bad wreck yesterday morning, but for now, everything's moving okay past Brandon Crossing and toward the Fayette Jessamine County line. Now back to you in the studio.
Yeah, it was a tough commute yesterday, certainly for people coming in around that. Thank you very much, Don. We appreciate it. And it's great to have you along on this Tuesday morning. 6:11 is our time. A lot more news is on the way.
I hope your morning's off to a good start. We got a lot more ahead.
Hillary Clinton prepares to testify about Benghazi, and 2 GOP candidates ask for Secret Service protection. I'm Brooks Silva-Braga in New York. The latest from the campaign trail coming up.
And we have an update on former NBA star Lamar Odom, who is reportedly on the move a week after being found unconscious at a Nevada brothel. Stay with us on WKYT.